Don't just live for tomorrow, or just live in yesterday. Just be glad for all you have that's in today. And though you've come through many obstacles.
Hey everyone, Connie here, and welcome to my blind reaction to Doom Patrol, Season 2, Episode 5. So, yeah, last time we had sex. We had Rita making Flex make her orgasm with his powers. We had a sex demon. We had the Dannysons arriving and partying and, you know, all of that. It was fun. It was entertaining. Cliff got high as a kite. It was fun. But now we kind of move on and still trying to figure out everything with Niles on getting him to survive and all the other stuff going on with all of our other characters and their struggles, to put it simply. And we still have the candle maker, who at this point is refusing to talk to Dorothy because she refused to kill Danny, which is a thing. But I'm very much interested to see where this goes. But I also want to be honest with you guys. I don't know if I don't know exactly what it is here. I don't know if it's because I was taking a break from this and then ended up coming right back because Ghost in My League just went on unexpected hiatus. I don't know if that's it or if it's something else, but whatever. Something is just making me not dread, but very much not want to get to these episodes. I noticed it last week, but I very much noticed it for this week's reaction. Because here's the thing. This is the one series that I'm having trouble with pre-recording a week early. Everything else I've been pre-recording pretty much a week ahead of time. I've been really good at getting to that. But this series, I pretty much always get to on the day it actually comes out. And I've noticed that with this season, at least. I've noticed that, and it's like, I don't know if it's the length or if it's just the heavy nature of some of these episodes and the stories they tell. Or if it's just getting worse because, again, I was supposed to put this on hold for a little bit. And then coming back to it and everything, and just because I was so upset at that because I was excited for more Molly McGee, and now that's on hiatus for who knows how long. It's just, I'm annoyed that I feel this way. And I don't know the exact reason. It could be a combination of all I mentioned, but again, I'm noticing I'm having trouble getting to these. That I'm not excited to get to these reactions. I end up enjoying the episodes after I watch them and while I'm watching them. But it's like it takes so much effort for me to almost kind of force myself to record compared to everything else. And maybe part of it as well is because I do have another hour-long series, well, pretty much hour-long series, with Chucky, and I don't know, it's maybe the pacing is a little faster on that one, but it's just, I'm overall enjoying that more right now. I'm not saying that Chucky's overall better than Doom Patrol, because there's a lot of factors that make Doom Patrol really damn good and everything. And I want to make clear, I still enjoy it, but something about it is just, I don't know. And so I'm not dropping Doom Patrol. I want to preface with that, but I am going to put it on hold because I feel like after this episode, because I feel like coming back to it like I did with when it was supposed to be on hold threw my entire alignment with it off balance, and it just it completely like made me not quite but kind of apathetic towards it, to again where I'm just not wanting to get to it. And so I think the best idea would be to actually give it that break it was supposed to have, because I was prepared for that. And here's the thing, this is episode 5. There's 9 episodes total. This is halfway through the season. So this is actually, in a way, kind of a good point to do it. Obviously, we're still doing this episode. I mean, obviously, you're watching the video, but... after this, we're going to take a break before we get to the final 4 episodes of the season. I just think it's the right thing to do. And it kind of coincides with the week-long break that I'm taking next week. You guys know I'm taking that break off for the week for everything except at just a couple shows that are either already recorded or a priority. And maybe, you know, some other stuff that's already recorded, like Celeste playthrough. But yeah, it's just, I'm at this point where I think I need to actually have the break I was supposed to have with this series. Because again, it's weighing on me more than it should be. And for someone who's enjoying the series too. Like, I'm enjoying it very much so, yet it's still this hard to get to each week, and it's just, that's not how it should be, you know? It really shouldn't. So I think the best case scenario would be to do that. I'll announce in the post thoughts, the afterthoughts part of this video, what is going to be replacing it for the time being. We're gonna watch some other stuff in the time for the time. Again, I don't know exactly what it is. Again, it could be a number of things, the things I mentioned and stuff. But it's just weighing on me. Maybe I'm just not in the right mood and mindset for it lately. Because, as I said, it's a very heavy series. It covers some very heavy topics. Maybe I'm just not in a good place for that recently. But whatever the case may be, I need a break. And it's not something I'm dropping. I don't want to drop it. I very much don't want to. But we're not going to, so... But yeah, I just wanted to let you guys know, let everyone know that it will be put on hold after this episode for the time being. We'll do at least one other show, maybe 2, before we get back to it. I don't know. It's going to depend on when I feel I'm ready to come back to it. But we will, for sure. So, that being said, we are going to get right back into this. This final episode, we're going to just see what we got, and hopefully it doesn't leave us off on a cliffhanger, because that would kind of suck. But I hope you all understand. I hope that it doesn't seem like weird or anything. Well, it might seem pretty weird, but I don't know. It's just, again, with having... I wasn't expecting to come back to it right away. I was expecting to have that break because I was expecting to have Molly McGee and Owl House on the same schedule at the same time. That's probably a big part of what threw me off for it. And a big part of what's been giving me trouble. I don't know for sure, though. I can only speculate. But again, I do, again, want to make it very clear that I am enjoying this series and the season as well. There's a lot of big mystery with this season, and obviously we can kind of already tell who the main villain is for the season. It's the Candlemaker. So I'm wondering how it's going to come to a point where they need to stop the Candlemaker and how they're even going to do that. Especially since the Candlemaker doesn't seem to be talking to Dorothy right now, so a lot of questions there. But we'll see how this goes. I, as usual, don't know what to expect going forward. But hopefully we end off on a really good episode that at least leaves me off on a good note, you know? And hopefully when we do come back, we come back on a good episode. Just kind of putting those vibes in the air right now, you know? But yeah, let's just get this started. So when the screen fades to black, pause this redirect and go to the description below. Follow the link to the reaction, and after you watch it, come back here to the redirect and resume play. Because after it fades to black and then fades back in, everything from that point forward will be my afterthoughts and will contain spoilers to the episode. So, with that being said, thank you so much for tuning in, and I will see you at the reaction. And we are back, and we'll begin with spoilers in 3, 2, 1, now. So I wouldn't say this is a cliffhanger at all. It's just a lot and really intense and scary and unexpected and a big holy shit moment for sure. There's quite a bit to talk about. I'm sorry if I seem like overwhelmed by this all, because I am. It's just, I have a lot of feelings about this episode. And mind you, I want to make it clear that I liked this episode. It was very well done. It was well written, well paced, and everything. All that's fine. It's just some real heavy shit that bothered me on a very personal level in one case, and just it was just a lot to deal with. So I guess I'll talk about it through each character. So let's start with Vic. So Vic does a little bit of hanging out with Cliff in this episode, and on some kind of advice from Cliff, which is actually really good advice, surprisingly. He goes to try and make up with Ronnie, and does. They make up, they fuck. they do. And Ronnie opens up more than she had before, revealing that after the military, she was brought into this black ops group, given superhuman enhancements, and made to do some awful stuff. Apparently she messed up at some point and they took the enhancements away, which I guess is just the thing you can do. And that through all of that, as well as the IED in Afghanistan, is how she got her scars and everything. Her opening up to Vic, as well as them just connecting and everything, is the only real positive that this episode leaves off with. And unfortunately, it's a very small part of the episode. Like, I understand that this series goes into very heavy territory. It has since the beginning. It deals with a lot. But this episode was really fucking depressing. And it really got to me. And I mean, I guess Rita's story ends well too, because she tries out for this play and at first is rejected, but later on gets the call and ends up, because of some didgeridoo sharing or something, she ends up getting a spot to be in the play that she wanted to be in. And it's like, I guess that's nice and all too, but it's like, considering that her story in this episode is interconnected with Larry's. It's just, I'll get to that. That's probably the last one I'm going to talk about. Cliff. Cliff finds out from the chief that Niles is planning on giving him enhancements. That he's working through these ideas to enhance him, to give him some upgrades that will help him in the long run. One of which being the ability to sense touch. The ability to sense the sensation of feeling again. And this gets to Cliff, like in a way that nothing else has. This episode shows Cliff as less vulgar, as less angry than usual because of this. He genuinely wants this. It's something he genuinely is excited for and really misses. He misses the sense of touch, and he gives this kind of impassioned speech about it to Vic, and it's like, you can see how this, what this means to him, how important it is to him. Vic agrees to try and help him, and they go to Silas, but he wants nothing to do with it. He sees what Niles had done as manslaughter at best, and says that if he gets involved, he'll be an accessory, and he doesn't want that. They aren't able to convince him, and Cliff is just kind of having to deal with it. Though he's connecting a little more with Vic. These two are actually forming a better bond, and there's this part where Cliff wants to like go on patrol with Vic and everything, and like we even see like a little mock-up of like a classic TV intro kind of thing, like a classic TV detective series intro. And it's like, oh my god, this is ridiculous, but it was funny as hell. And Cliff does try to actually take some action. He sees a couple guys trying to break into and steal a car, and he goes to stop them. He just throws one guy, and he's about to hit the other guy, but his joints freeze up. He's been having the issues with his arms and all, and this comes into play here. The guy starts to get into the car, but like Cliff slams the door shut, completely severing one of the guy's fingers. The guy freaks out naturally and runs away, and Cliff, for some fucking reason, keeps the finger. I don't understand why he did that. Maybe there's going to be something to it, but it's just, right now, it's just kind of creepy, honestly. But yeah, Cliff, as he himself said, it's about patience. Niles told him that he's going to have to be patient, because Niles had also said that getting him those feelings back could take years or even decades. And of course, Cliff wants this, and he understands the patience thing. He actually does. But he also is impatient because he knows Niles is dying. So, yeah. There's that little wrench. And then we have Baby Doll. So, Jane, throughout most of this episode, gives up control of the body to Baby Doll, and she ends up spending the day with Dorothy. And at first they get along swimmingly. They're having a great time, but Dorothy starts to realize that she doesn't quite have the energy and will to go along with Baby Doll's excessive high energy playing. Dorothy, while she still considers herself a kid and everything, because, you know, she physically is, at least, and even mentally, honestly, she's just not able to keep up. So she does try to try to introduce Baby Doll to Manny, but Baby Doll is a little too excitable and a little too aggressive with Manny, which causes him to leave, to go back away. This upsets Dorothy, and so she starts to avoid Baby Doll. And they eventually start to come to odds with each other. During a game of hide and seek later on, when it looks like they're trying to get back into each other's good graces, Dorothy scares Baby Doll. She spooks her. She jumps out at her. Nothing altogether that bad, but Baby Doll is freaked out by it and ends up locking Dorothy in furnace. I think that was supposed to be a furnace or something like that. And she even, like, it just goes too far, because Manny is brought out and everything, and Flaming Katie kills Manny. And at this point, it like clearly just starts to go, it just drops. Like, it's just like the entire mood, the entire situation, just everything just like drops in tone when Manny is killed. Dorothy finally makes a wish. The Candlemaker chases Baby Doll and Flaming Katie into the underground and kills them both. In probably the most intensely shocking ending to an episode of this series so far. 2 of Jane's alters were murdered by the Candlemaker. I wasn't even sure when watching it if Flaming Katie actually died or not, but I looked it up, and yeah, she did. And Hammerhead was knocked around as well. This is a big deal. And you know Niles is going to find out about this. I don't know how he's going to react to it. I don't know what's going to happen. This is not good, though. We know that for sure. As I said in the pre-thoughts, it's very clear that the Candlemaker is the main antagonist of the season. This is like only the beginning. We have 4 more episodes after this, which again, we're going to be taking a break, and I'll get to that. But I don't think this is the limits of what we're going to see with the Candlemaker. I don't think so. And that scares me. But I can't put it off anymore. We have to talk about Larry's part of the episode. The part that really just heavily hit at my depression and was a really heavy thing for me personally. Larry has a call with his son, with Paul, and he's going to go help Paul and them clean out his other son, Gary's place. Clean everything out, handle it all. And he ends up inviting Rita to come with him after her failed audition. So they go, and everything seems to be going well. There's a lot of closure happening. Paul's son and grandson gets to meet Larry. Just a lot of really heavy stuff. A lot of really good stuff, though. A lot of really good closure for Larry. And you can see it's good for him. It's affecting him positively. And it's like we have to just go straight into it. That night, Larry and Paul are talking. Paul gives him the contents of his locker from back when he was back from when everything first happened. And Larry comes out. He comes out to his son, tells him that he's gay, and we don't really know how Paul feels about that. He seems surprised by it. He seems taken aback, but not like necessarily negatively. But then Paul reveals he's betrayed Larry, and this is why it got to me so bad. Although obviously the specifics of this are very much within the realm of its comic book nature, within the realm of its fictional nature and all, with the Bureau of Normalcy, who I didn't realize was the Bureau of Normalcy at first, if that wasn't clear, coming in with everything happening, the negative spirit taking them out, but Larry's grandson getting shot in the process and everything. Even with all of that being very comic booky and very little series movie-ish, very dramatic and everything, the idea behind it is so blatantly obvious and so blatantly like real. It hurt me. It physically did cause me pain. Like I felt my stomach drop at that. I felt legit pain in my chest from that moment, because this is, whether intentional or not from the creators, the writers and everything, I don't know what their intention was here. I can't say with any degree of certainty. I'm not going to assume. But whatever their intention, there's an obvious allegory here for violence against queer people. A queer person coming out and then being turned on by their family, and having not only just being turned on, but having that family member like actively antagonize and be aggressive towards them, and then something happens that's directly the fault of the aggressor, and yet they blame the person who had come out. It's there. And this hit me very hard as a queer person, as someone who's come out multiple times in multiple ways, as trans, as originally bi and then eventually pan, and then eventually coming out as pansexual rather than just panromantic, realizing that I'm not asexual. And I've had friends and family turn against me in that regard. And people have told me to my face, people I considered friends, that they would refuse to use my new name or to correctly gender me, that they would purposefully misgender and dead name me. There's family, specifically my father, who has continued to actively do it, knowing, and even when others around him, including my siblings, properly gender and say my name and everything, it's like he still does it in the same conversations. And while I personally have not gone through anything like super aggressive, super antagonized in that way, in the same way as, like, you know, this, in some cases in real life, people have been attacked, physically attacked, and even killed after coming out, just for being themselves. And while that kind of thing, it has never gone that far for me, luckily, the pain of still that betrayal by close people close to you still exists. It still hurts to have friends and family treat you like that. Friends that like you would constantly spend time with and hang out with, and now you haven't seen them in years because of just because you came out. Seeing what happened to Larry here hurt me. It physically caused me pain, and it emotionally destroyed me. Because, again, whether intentional or not, the idea is there. The pain, the real pain is there. And it's something, again, that I connect to. And I've had friends who've been in the same boat. And it's not okay. It's not fair to be treated this poorly because of just who you are. And I know, I understand that that's not why Paul betrayed him. Because Paul had betrayed him before he even revealed that. I get that. But again, it's like the timing of that was still there and still made it clear what that was. Again, even if not intentionally by the writers, was connecting to in real life. It's just, I just, I just, I want these characters to be happy. And I understand, like, I understand it's fictional. I understand things will probably be resolved to some degree and things will continue to move and everything as episodes go on. But it's like, it's like this is definitely one of those series that has made me connect with these characters, that has made me feel for them. And it's just, again, part of this with Larry is definitely the connection because of being queer, but I want these characters to be happy. I want them to have successes. All these constant pains, all these constant losses, these L's that they're taking. It's not fair. It's like the way they're constantly, like, the way everything seems to be constantly going against them is like, it's like they're cursed. They're constantly feeling so much ridiculous levels of pain. So they're constantly being hurt so badly. that it's like there's a curse against them, that they're not allowed to be happy. And it's hard to say, like, it's hard to say with a series like this, with it constantly changing, things constantly growing and connecting and everything. It's hard to say, like, which character I like the most and which one I feel for the most and everything. But at this point, after this episode, I think the one that I'm connecting to and feeling for the most is clearly Larry. And I really hope that this season has at least some positive conclusion for him. It's just, I can't. We need to move on. I can't. This is just, it's, like, I'm not even, like heavily crying or anything. It's just, I'm so depressed by this that I'm beyond even that at this point. We need to just stop and not talk about this anymore. So I guess we'll just move on to close this out. And as I said in the pre-thoughts, we are going to be taking a break from this, just because I feel like mentally there's this block there with reacting to it, where it's like I keep putting it off and everything. But again, we're not dropping it or anything. We're actually just basically going on the break that we were originally going to take in the first place. So I think that's especially needed after this episode too. I don't think I could actually bring myself to continue for a bit after that. So yeah, I guess that's a good thing. Good episode to have this happen on, at least, rather than like coming back to this episode. So moving on. Let's stop. Let's please stop. As for what is going to replace this, I have basically this list of things. I've mentioned the list before and everything, where it's basically like, okay, this is going to replace this when this ends, and so on and so forth. I like to plan things out. And so I had a plan already for the donation reward slots, which this is one of. This is one of Rip's donation rewards. I think the only one that they have at the moment, actually. But along with Owl House. And so basically I had this plan, like, okay, one of them ends first, which is going to be Doom Patrol, clearly. And so the next one I'm going to get to is going to be something I really want to enjoy. No matter which of the donation rewards end first, which again, clearly was going to be Doom Patrol initially. But then I was going to put it on break because of the schedule change, and then we brought it back, and either way, we're putting it on hold for now. So I decided that I want something, especially after that episode. I want something that I know I'm going to enjoy, and that I really want to, just have fun with. That's something, especially because I'm putting this series on hold because I'm having a hard time getting to it each week. I want what's going to replace it to be something that I'm not going to have a hard time getting to, something that I'm going to be able to enjoy getting to. And so I've decided that what is going to replace Doom Patrol Season 2 for now is going to be the third and final season of Kipo and the Age of Wonder Beasts. It's been something I've been wanting to get back to, like, literally since I finished Season 2. I wanted to get back to Kipo, but I wanted there to be a break in between. Didn't want to burn myself out on Kipo. Even though it's the final season, it's like it still could happen. So since I finished Season 2, I wanted to get back to this, and we're going to do so. I think it's the right time, and again, with what series, with the fact that it's Doom Patrol Season 2, and I'm having, again, these issues bringing myself to record it because of just whatever's happening, as I stated in the pre-thoughts. Whatever the reason is, it's like I need something that I'm going to be really excited to get to each week. And that's definitely going to be it. You guys know I really love the series. And with how it left off, I'm really, really excited to see where it goes. Because we have a new main villain. So that's going to be fun. It's going to be definitely interesting to see where they take it in the final season. And it sucks that it's the final season, that there's only one left. But hey, sometimes series don't need to go for seasons and seasons and seasons. Sometimes 2 to 3 or so can just, it works. I mean, it worked with Gravity Falls. But yeah, we will come back to Doom Patrol in the future, but I do need this break from it. That, again, I was going to take originally anyways, but yeah, again, I mentioned in the pre-thoughts what happened. So it's just like, I think we need to actually take that break. And again, after this episode, I need a break. I can't handle more of this series right now. It's just, it's getting too heavy for me. Too real and just too emotionally draining. So we will get back to it, so don't worry, Ribs. It will be coming back. But for now, we are going to be moving to Kipo. And as I also said in the pre-thoughts, reminder that next week we will be on break, so Kipo will actually be starting. Let me make sure I get the date right. Where is that? Since this will be a Wednesday show, and we're taking next week off of mostly everything, we will be starting with Kipo on Wednesday the 13th of April. So yeah, look forward to that then. And yeah, hopefully it gives us a great final season to end off on. But in the meantime, I thank you all so much for understanding. Tell me what you thought of the episode of Doom Patrol Season 2 down in the comments below. I'm sorry if it seemed like I didn't talk about the actual episode much, or if it felt like I was just not saying a lot. It's just it affected me, and it's just a lot to deal with. Okay, I'm sorry, but it's a lot for me personally. It's a very heavy thing. So thank you all so much for tuning in. For now, I'm Connie, and I'm signing off. See y'all next time.